again, everyone. So this is sort of a fountain pen favorites video, but it's really just me wanting to show you my 3 current favorite fountain pens that I am containing in this beautiful little pouch. So this is made by Tatcha, and it has these cute little bunny rabbits on it, and I purchased it from Pen Chalet. And it has, the fabric is upside down on the back because it folds over. So you've got this whole little running bunny rabbit plus some botanical things. And it's this beautiful color. And inside are what I consider my 3 favorite fountain pens. One of them is new, one of them is a little older that I haven't showed you 2 of these 3. So let me go ahead and get in here, and I'll tell you why I like these pens and what makes them special. These are not cheap pens. So the first one that's here, you've seen before. So this is the Sailor 1911 large, and I still have the same ink in here. I'm going to try and find a blank page in here that I can do some writing samples on. You're going to see some bleed through from the prior page, but I'm trying to use this notebook, like every single page of it. So this is the Sailor 1911 large with a medium nib. And I still really, really love it. The reasons why this continues to be a favorite, and you can hear it, it has a little bit of feedback, but in spite of the feedback, it's still really super smooth, and it's just basically a joy to write with. I don't know how else to describe it. I feel like the line quality is just right, and I have no issues with this pen. So, and it starts right up every time I open it, and that's true of all 3 of these. And this has one of the Shikiori inks. I've forgotten now the name of it, but it is one of my favorites. Let's see if I can find. No, it's not handy, but I will put a link down below to my prior favorites video where I talk about the name of this ink and this pen. These other 2 pens are inks and pens that you have not seen before, I believe. So this one is a rather new acquisition. I did not open it on the channel. I kind of took a bit of a break. I preloaded my channel. I filmed a bunch of videos and took kind of a break, and that's when I got this. And it is a Pelicon M800. And it was from Goulet Pens when they had like a super great deal on these. But it was still expensive. But I do not regret it for a moment because it is just an amazing, amazing pen. So the only one that they had left at this really great price was the bold nib. And as luck would have it, I was actually considering a bold nib for my next Pelicon. So this is the Pelicon M800. Like it makes me calm just writing with it. It's one of those pens that is kind of like butter on glass. It's like, actually, it's probably the only pen that I've written with that is like butter on glass. And this is a bold nib. You can still hear a little bit of sound as I write, but the writing experience is just, it's amazing. It's amazing. I love it. So what's in here is the linen toolbar. I think, I'm probably going to butcher the name. It's the Wenshang Puchong Tea color. I think that's how you say it, but if I got it wrong, I apologize to everyone. But it's a really beautiful color. I feel like it coordinates well with the pen, even though it's slightly green. It also sort of has an earthy tone to it, which I think goes well with the brown. The only issue I have with this pen is unless you're looking directly into the light, you're not going to be able to see your ink level, because it doesn't have an ink window, but you can make this out. I'm going to see, I'm going to test this theory. Yeah, if you put it right up to a bulb, and then of course I'm blind because I put it up next to a light bulb, but I looked at it. But if you put it up, I assume you could put it up to a window or something where there's a lot of light coming through. You can see your ink level. But if you're just in sort of a darkly lit room, it's going to be hard for you to see your ink level. And that is like a really minor thing. It has a great ink capacity, holds a ton. It's just an amazing pen. And I actually like this size a lot. I don't have an M600, although I did pre-order one in the Black Friday sale. I ordered the red one. That's the new one, the M600. So that I'll probably do an unboxing on the channel. I've just been kind of going crazy with pens. It's this is how my stress comes out. I buy pens but things like this, like, I'm really glad I got this, and especially glad that I got it at the sale price, because I think it was truly a bargain for the sale price that Goulet had it at, and they had free shipping, and it was great. But this pen is truly amazing. I really love the color. They were out of stock for a while. They must have gotten another batch in, but I was really surprised to see that they had the bold, which I had already been thinking about, and it was the only one left, and I was just really happy to snag it. But so this is much heavier than the M400, because the M400 is the biggest one that I have. And this is obviously much heavier. It has a metal piston, which makes it heavier. I actually quite like the size. I'm kind of surprised. I could write with it either unposted or posted. One of the biggest surprises to me this year has really been the fact that I like bigger pens. And I cannot lie, right? But it's true. I don't know what it is. When I was first trying out fountain pens, I tried out some larger pens, and they kind of felt like a big giant crayon in my hand. But this, I mean, when I hold this, I don't feel like it feels like a big giant crayon. I feel like it feels like a quality writing instrument. That paired with the absolutely lovely writing experience. Let's do the quick Brown Fox. Just lovely. This nib on the 800 is not as flexible. Like you can't get as much line variation as I think you can out of. Oh, and it's actually kind of stubbish, isn't it? That's kind of interesting. Because side to side, it's a little bit narrower. Oh, that's very interesting. That's probably why I like it so much. So, anyway, I'm going to stop gushing about the M800, but this is definitely one of my recent favorites. So let's go on to the next one. So this is the Pilot Custom 823, and again, amazing. I mean, both the Pelicon M800 and the Pilot Custom 823 live up to the hype, in my opinion. I got them and I was like, oh, okay, I see what people are talking about now. So this is also not inexpensive. I kind of took a shortcut to make it a little bit more inexpensive. I had some affiliate money on Amazon, so I put that towards it, and I got it off of Amazon, which, you know, a lot of people don't like that idea, but I was able, because I got it on Amazon, I was able to also use points from my Amazon credit card and make this essentially like a $60 pen with all of the points and stuff that I put towards it. But normally this is very expensive. It's almost $300. And you probably have noticed this by now, that I am like a super bargain hunter. If I find something that I want, I generally will wait until I find it on sale, generally. This is one of those that, I mean, that was definitely true of the Pelicon M800. That was way on sale. I don't think I would have purchased it for the normal like $600 or $700 price tag. It was more in the 300 range, which is still a lot for a pen. But again, gorgeous. If you can find it for that price again, go for it. This one just never went on sale. It's just like anywhere. I had it in my wish list for at least a year, and it just never went on sale. So I said, okay, well, I'm going to put all these different rewards that I have together and get this pen. And I did, and I would say it's worth it at the normal price, which is almost $300. It's like 200 and some. It's in the high 200s normally. I mean, I want to be honest with you about how much these pens cost. Even though they're amazing, you know, they cost a lot. These two, like I think I've told you before that the Sailor 1911 large I also got off of Amazon. So this middle one's the only one I didn't get off of Amazon. I got that on Goulet pens, and I got this one for less than $150. So, and that is not how much those larges cost. But you kind of, I mean, part of it is I'm willing to take a little bit of a risk. But I purchased from sellers that I could return the item if I was not happy with it. So this turned into a long thing about buying pens on Amazon. But, you know, buyer beware, obviously. But like I said, when I do buy them on Amazon, I generally buy them from sellers that I can return from. And another word of warning, I purchased a Sailor 1911, just a standard size. It's the profit model, which is sort of the for the Japanese market. I ordered it, and I think the pandemic kind of got in the way. It has been in shipment for over 3 months. It's a bold nib, which I couldn't, or a broad nib, which I couldn't find anywhere for any decent price other than on Amazon. And so I'm still waiting for it. It says it's shipping, it's running late. You know, I don't know what's going to end up happening with that pen, whether I'll ever get it. But that was sort of the risk I took. If you ever see, like if it says Prime shipping, that's generally, they already have it on hand and they'll be able to get it to you fairly fast. But if it's something that says free shipping without the Prime thing, it could take a while, which is, and I've had pens before come from Amazon that have taken several months before. My guess is that I'll probably get the Sailor after Christmas, because and the time you're seeing this, it's probably already after Christmas, so maybe I'll give you an update. But yeah, that's what I'm expecting, because usually once the rush of something is over, they tend to find things in corners of the post office. But anyway, that was a really long rant about buying pens. So the Pilot Custom 8, what is it, the 823. I always get, so, and I think that what the 823 means is that the 82 is the years since the company was founded that this pen was made, so 82 years later. And then I think the 3 is how many tens of thousands of yen that this pen will cost, which means this would be 30,000 yen, I think, which makes sense, because 30,000 yen I think is about $300. So that's sort of the rough. I mean, obviously it depends on the exchange rate, but that makes sense. So this pen, and I should have told you before. I'm all over the place today, you guys. So Sailor 1911 large, I talked about it on that prior video that I've linked below. This is a converter, cartridge converter pen. So that's sort of a standard thing. This is a piston fill, so you can only use bottled ink, but that's why it has such a large capacity. You basically twist it down so that the little whatever that thing's called goes to the end, and then you twist it up to suck all the ink up into the reservoir here. For this one, this is a piston fill, but it's a vac, essentially, a vac fill. And I I still have ink in here for my first fill, even though I wrote a ton with it. And I'm actually really looking forward to running out of the ink in here because this ink has been giving me so much trouble, you guys. So this is the Tono and Limbs ink number 4, and it's really problematic. But so basically it has a flow issue, and in every pen that I've used it in. So I know it's the ink. So this is see what I'm talking about? That is not the pen. That is the ink. Pilot Custom 823. I keep forgetting. 823. Yes. But this is another one. It's, you know, it's very different than the Pelicon, but it's also so smooth and lovely to write with. And this ink is really putting, oops, quick. Brown Fox is really putting the kibosh on my full enjoyment of it. So I'm trying to decide what to put in there after this is gone. But quite honestly, this is the best this ink has ever looked in a pen because flow issues. This is a very wet pen, which is great for this ink. This is a medium, by the way. It's a medium nib. Even though it's Japanese, it's quite broad for a medium. If you can see the medium, you know, I'd say this is almost as bold as the bold, but not quite. Yeah, there's actually a difference there, but you're seeing, and there's a little bit of flex to the nib, but not much. It's pretty much the same side to side. I am going to pick an amazing ink for this during its next fill. As you can see, I think I still have like half left. This reservoir lasts forever. I literally have been writing with it all the time. I think I might just bite the bullet and empty the ink out and put a better ink in here because this pen truly deserves it. I mean, it is amazing. It's one of the few pens that I got, and I was like, this is like a perfect pen. Nothing needs to be done with it. But anyway, so it's a vac fill. I would highly recommend any of these. I will put links. So I'll put a link to where I purchased these pens, basically. So I'll put a link to these two on Amazon. I think the 1911 large you can still get for a pretty decent price on Amazon. The Pilot Custom 823, I don't think you need to buy that on Amazon because the price is never going to go down on it for whatever reason. It's going to pretty much cost the same everywhere. And you might, you know, like I said, I was using points from my card and some other money that I had in my account. But you might want to just go ahead and buy it from someplace like Goulet Pens because it's going to be the same price, and then you'll have a little bit of added security knowing that if anything goes wrong with your pen, you can talk to them about it. The Pelicon M800, the best price I have ever seen was on Goulet. I've never seen that price on Amazon or anywhere else. I will put a link to it. They are sold out at the moment of me recording this video, but if they ever come back in stock, I highly recommend it. You know, even if you have the means to get this at a higher price, I think it's an amazing pen. Truly worth it. I mean, these are pens that I'm going to keep forever, and that, you know, I may end up passing down to nieces and nephews. Like I don't have any kids, so so it's not gonna be my kids, but I'm gonna keep them forever, and they're gonna be like heirlooms. That's essentially what these are. Of the three, I would say the Sailor 1911 large probably feels the least luxury in the hand. It's probably just because of its weight. The nib, though, is 21 karat and is lovely. Oh, I should talk about the nib composition on these two. It's going kind of long, but then I'll end. So so I think it is 18 karat on it's 18 karat on the Pelicon. And the smaller Pelicons are only 14 karat. I think this is the first step up where you get 18 karat. Based on my experience with this, I am now on the hunt for a good deal on an M1000. That might be tougher because they're pretty expensive, and You know, this is a great size. I find this to be a great size. Would the M1000 be too big? I don't know. So that has an 18K nib and it feels very substantial. And this one also feels very substantial. It feels like, you know, you've got a quality pen here. But I think this is only 14K, or is it 18? Let's see. Oh, it says 15 on it. No, there it is, 14K. So it is only a 14 karat. And the gold composition doesn't necessarily mean it will feel a certain way. Like, not every 21 karat nib will feel the same. Not every 18 karat nib will feel the same. Not every 14 karat nib will feel the same. Obviously, because I have several 14K nibs in my collection, and none of them feel as buttery and awesome as this custom 823. So this is sort of my favorites fancy edition. Let's call it that, in my fancy little case here. Oh, and I'll also put a link to this case. They have some other designs in case rabbits aren't your thing. They're all generally in this Japanese design aesthetic. But it was kind of perfect for this little trio of pens to put in here. But I think that's all I have for you today, and I hope I didn't bore you to death talking about buying pens on Amazon, but I feel very passionate about finding the deal. Finding the deal, and sometimes in the search of finding the deal, you actually screw yourself over a little bit, so that's kind of why I wanted to talk about that. But just know, you know, what your risks are. And same goes for buying pens on the secondhand market. Unless you're buying from a reputable seller that you know is going to be held accountable in case anything's wrong with it. If it's just some, let's say, I don't want to say rando, that seems kind of rude, but essentially that's what they are, right? They're going to be a rando that you're buying this pen from. You may never have another interaction with them. So ask questions in that circumstance before you buy, and get the best pictures that you can, and make sure you ask them about how the pen writes and how the nib feels, because sometimes people will get rid of their pens because they don't like how they write, and often that's because, you know, they may have gotten a dud or something like that. But anyway, that's all I have to say about that. I hope you enjoyed. Feel free to subscribe to keep track of future videos on my channel. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like. I hope to see you next time, but in the meantime, have a great day. Thanks so much. Bye.